Okay, guys, just got back from work and figured I'd put up another quick video. I've had some interest in talking about specs and how to spec out your guy, some different builds. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of high-profile streamers that do some really good work talking about it. But I just a little bit to go over what I use and what works well for me. Um, so anyway, one of the most obvious things to talk about is having Masterwork gear. Masterwork gear is a really good way to get high stats. If you'll notice, my stats are pretty high, kind of around the board. I got a couple hundreds, and then we don't have them sitting there at 20 because of that. I'm still able to run 40 and 60. I mean, this isn't as good as I'd like it, but it's still pretty darn good. Um, but one thing I really want to talk about that it didn't seem a lot of people are still kind of aware of is some of the charged with light builds and some of the stuff you can do with that. Um, so one thing that you'll notice is I have one arc piece, two arc pieces, two void pieces, and one solar piece. And the reason I do this is because there's different mods that are only available in that fourth slot on different elemental types of armors. I really like having two arc pieces, period. It used to be I had all void because I liked snipers, hand cannons, sidearms, scout rifles. I liked everything that void dealt with. Now with the changed armors, it doesn't matter as much anymore because you can get those sort of buffs on any piece. But going back to two arc pieces, the reason I do this is for a couple different mods. One is called Radiant Light. You'll notice that there's a secondary perk on this mod. Um, there's a benefit. Casting your super causes nearby allies to become charged with light. That's nice. That's handy. But if you have another arc mod on, whether that's Outreach or anything else, normally in PvE I'm running with Thermal Overload so I can stun things. But anyway, if you have one other arc piece on, it gives you plus 20 strength. You notice my bond now has 42 stats on it for a class item, which is a little bit crazy. Um, Now that other arc mod doesn't have to be on the same piece of gear. It can be on any piece of gear. So that's why my other piece has Powerful Friends. Powerful Friends has plus 20 mobility as the secondary perk. Now both of those, you can actually get both those perks by combining. This is an arc mod, Radiant Light. You can take this off and it's still active, plus 20 strength, because there's another arc mod in another piece of gear, this Powerful Friend. So if you compare those both together for 7 energy, 4 on one and 3 on the other, you're getting 40 stats. That's huge. 40 stats. When you think about what else other mods you're doing to get stats. Um, well worth your time to actually have a couple arc pieces to put that on. That's the way I can get decently high mobility, decently high, and it adds to your strength. So mobility is great for PvP. Strength is good. All the melees and the stasis and everything are pretty nice right now. So having a high strength is not a bad deal. Um, but you can pair those two arc mods together on two different pieces. I don't see a huge need to have more than two pieces of arc gear because the other mods you'd be using, you might like quick charge on a third piece if you want something like that, or if you're running like Lucent Blade or something, you can add it. But in terms of stats, just getting high stats, it's really good to have both Radiant Light and Powerful Friends together. It's a great build to run. Um, Now, with that, that's just getting high stats. So, talking about Charged with Light mods, I really like Charged with Light, especially for PvE, but even in PvP. So, in PvP, which I'm set up for right now, I always use Taking Charge. That's the base way to get a Charge with Light is picking up an orb of light or orb of power now. So it's really simple. Pick up an orb of power. Well, guess what? You're in PvP. People are using supers. You're picking up an orb of power every now and then. Great. Um, Now in PvP, I pair with that this other mod, High Energy Fire, which gives you a bonus to weapon damage when you have a charge with light until you kill something, and then it goes away once you kill something. Um, so I mean that's great. Obviously, more damage in PvP is awesome. I actually switched that out for this is the Void mod. I switch out for Protective Light. Um, and the reason I do that is, it takes away strength, but that significant damage resistance you get while you have a orb of power, for like it's like 4 seconds, and then it's 9 seconds if you have two stack, things like that. Um, it it has kept me alive so many times in PvE. If you're running with a sword, it's almost a mandate that you have that, so that you can be stomped twice while you have protective light, and it doesn't kill you. I mean, you get like an 80% damage reduction while you're a protective light. Um, and if you hit your protective light and then pop your rift real quick and heal all the way back up, you keep the buff, you keep the damage protection while you're full health then. So it's really, really good to run Protective Light. All high end game PvE content, I would use it. It works in PvP, but I'd rather have the damage from high energy fire. Now you need to be charged, have a charge with light orb. That's why we always have taken charge on, because that's the easiest way to become charged with light, by picking up an orb of power. So that's the easiest way to get it. There's some other ways, matching shield types and finishing combatants and things like that. But in essence, the best way is just taking charge. That's the easiest way you're going to get it. Um, the other option you can get is this mod called Charge Harvester, and it's why I go with the Void. Is because if you really need an extra way to get a charge with light, this one's really good. In PvE, if you don't mind about -10 to a stat, um, uh, while you're not charged with light, any killer assist has a small cumulative chance. I mean, it is small, but it's not as small as you think. I think it's like, if I'm by myself and I don't have a charge with light and I kill between 5 and 7 enemies, I get a charge with light. Even if you assist with those 5 or 7 enemies in high end game content, if if you use Wither Horde and you're just tagging things, whatever, there's a good chance that you're going to get a charge with light, which is again going to keep you alive because you're pairing that with protective light. And then the final piece, I get solar, just because there's a couple cool solar mods that you can pair with this. Stuff like charged up, you can have an additional charge with light. If you actually have enough energy left, you can have supercharged, so you can get 2 more stacks of light, so you can end up getting 4. There's some fun stuff. Now it can have the basic ones as well: high energy fire, taking charge, so you can use, as I said, you could actually put the taking charge on the solar piece and then use both the void pieces for protective light and for charge harvester, wherever that is. I'm probably missing it. There we go. Charge harvester. So you could have both taking charge, charge harvester, and protective light for PvE, and that'll the highest chance that you will always have an orb of power on you. And so if you get down to almost dying, that's going to save your life. It's great in PvE, but yeah, so that's kind of going over my stats and on armor and how it works. If you have any questions, put them on comments in the video. Hit me up on Discord, PlayStation chat, something like that. Join up and we can chat. I'm more than happy to explain all this stuff. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in.